Hi, this is Richard Chamberlain. Welcome back to the Protecting Your Family's Future podcast. I'm one of the attorneys with the Legacy Law Group in Perrysburg, Ohio. This is episode number 46 of our podcast, and we're working our way through a series on understanding the probate process and some issues that come up in probate. Today, we're going to talk about dealing with real estate that is subject to probate, that's in the probate estate. Now, that can come up for a couple of different reasons. It could be a house that somebody owned, the house that they lived in. It could be rental property. It could be commercial property that they owned. It doesn't really matter what kind of property it is as to how it's dealt with. Now, there could be a specific way that property is dealt with because a will says to do things a certain way with it. For example, I want to give my house to my child. Then that would be a specific distribution of the house, and it would be given to that beneficiary. Generally, that's not the case, though. What we find is in a will that is subject to probate, or if a person didn't have a will, then the law says that the assets are divided among the heirs in a certain way. If real estate is a part of the estate, then how that gets dealt with is really going to depend on whether or not there is a mortgage on that house. Here's the two scenarios. If there is a mortgage on the house, that means the house cannot just be transferred to the beneficiaries, because then the lender on that loan that is secured by that mortgage will call that loan due, and the new owners, the beneficiaries, need to then pay off the house. They need to pay off that loan to free the house from the mortgage. So we can't just transfer the house. If there is not a mortgage, if the house is owned free and clear by the deceased person, then we have a couple of different options. We can, in that case, transfer the house to a beneficiary or to all of the beneficiaries. There's a procedure in probate called a certificate of transfer, where the real estate is transferred specifically to a beneficiary or specific beneficiaries, as the case may be. And that's done without the property having to be sold. We just transfer that as a distribution in kind of that real estate. A more common way of dealing with real estate, though, is for the real estate to be sold by the executor or the administrator. If the house is secured by a mortgage, then the house is going to have to be sold. Other times, it just makes more sense to sell it. But if the house has to be sold, the executor lists the house for sale. The executor sells the house. The proceeds from the sale of the real estate are held in the estate checking account, and then the funds are used to pay any debts, to pay any expenses. The title company that handles the sale of the house will pay off the mortgage. So at that point, the estate just gets the net proceeds of the sale after deduction of real estate commissions and all of the other expenses of the sale. The net proceeds of sale go into the estate, as I said, and then the net proceeds are used as part of the estate to pay any taxes that might be due, to pay any expenses, fees, court costs, and then the balance is distributed to the beneficiaries as cash. So depending on the situation in the estate, is there a mortgage on the property? Is there not? Is the property specifically gifted to someone or not? Does it make sense to do a specific transfer? Or should the house or property be sold? All of these are issues that need to be addressed in a probate estate when you're looking at how to deal with real estate. There's no one-size-fits-all answer. As the case, there almost never is in anything, but certainly not in this situation. If you have any questions about an estate that you're dealing with or how to deal with your estate in particular, If you are in Ohio or in Michigan, we'd be happy to talk to you about that. You can reach out to us. The contact information for us is in the show notes. And we look forward to talking to you. And thanks for being here this week. We hope it's helpful. We'll see you next week.